6.
A leading ant expert was warned yesterday that a new deadly strain of ant flu is heading straight for Barnsley, and the chances of survival are practically zero. We interviewed world-famous antologist Professor Derek Fenspost.
I understand you know a lot about ant flu.
According to research, there are over 86 million different types of ant flu.
Can it be cured?
Until now, all of them have been curable. But this is a new type, and it is the opposite of curable. It is incurable. We cannot cure it. Can it be cured, you might ask? No, there is no cure, and that is why I say it is incurable, because it can't be cured.
How can it be caught?
The ant flu floats around in the air like a fart waiting for victims, then jumps into their bodies and starts hassling the immune system. The strain of ant flu causes its victims to sneeze a lot. Then the patient will start carrying small bits of leaves around and try to eat as much sugar as possible. But eventually the sneezing gets too much and patients sneeze themselves to death within 24 hours.
The professor's warning caused widespread panic in Barnsley yesterday, with hundreds of people fleeing their homes or jumping into the sea to escape. But today, Professor Fenspost urged the public not to act too hastily.
Humans can't actually catch the ant flu, only ants can. Sorry, I should have mentioned that in the first place.
A 61-year-old woman has fallen off a 14-year-old ladder. Luckily, Elsie Roberts was not injured during the fall, which killed her instantly. She leaves behind a daughter, 2 grandsons, a slightly broken ladder, and a little red box that nobody knows how to open.
Yes. It's officials say experts in the hottest summer since records began, and it's probably even hotter than before records began, too. Only there's no way of knowing for sure, as there were no records before records even began.
Last week, temperatures were already soaring into the upper 70s. And hang on to your sun cream, folks, because it's only going to get hotter. But why is it so hot exactly?
We've got Professor Stephanie Jeffrey, the world's famous weather scientist, here in the studio to explain.
It's all down to that big round yellow thing in the sky. When it shines, it gets quite hot. And that is what we scientists call nice weather. If it carries on shining, it will get even hotter, and that is what we call very nice weather, or a lovely day for a picnic.
Has nice weather always been about fun and going onto the beach?
No, it can sometimes be dangerous too. If the weather gets too hot, then we will all be burnt to cinders like human pieces of toast, without hope of escape. We will die in our millions, gasping and choking from the cruel blazing heat. That sounds awful. Don't worry though, that probably won't happen.
Does the current heat wave have anything to do with the global warming?
I don't know. Maybe. Who cares?
Thanks for that, Professor Jaffa Cake. A 39-year-old man called Benjamin Dinnerjacket has relieved that he went to the shops last Tuesday to buy a loaf of bread. Fred Boggs reports.
So, what happened?
I needed some bread. I went to shops, got some bread, walked back home.
Did the bread taste nice?
I've no idea, I ain't tried it yet.
Breaking news. Mr. T has been spotted wearing a bright pink tutu. The Mohawk Snickers scoffing A-team star was spotted in Mary's News by a little girl called Barry who had this to say.
It was definitely Mr. T. He stomped into the shop in a bright pink tutu, demanding a Snickers bar. When the assistant said that they had sold out, he said something like, "Quit your jibby-jab, fool. You ain't a shopkeeper, you're pathetic."
Mr. T was unable to comment, but his agent issued the statement.
Mr. T ain't no fool, he ain't going on more. Play it, don't do bad neither.
A leading scientist has discovered that babies get bigger as time goes on. According to his material research, Professor John harpsichord, was interviewed yesterday after speaking at an international scientist convention.
I've been measuring babies with a ruler for over 40 years. At first, the babies are quite small, only a few inches or so, but as time goes by, they seem to get bigger. After 40 years, some of the babies are as big as me, or even larger, and they can also talk and drive cars somehow.
In local news, Nuffles McWinterleg, the oldest man in Barnsley, has died at the grand age of 106 after an experiment with some hand grenades and a sledgehammer went horribly wrong.
Nuffles had many jobs in his long life, including shop assistant, milkman, and Prime Minister. But he will mostly be remembered for being the first man ever to kick a flamingo in the beak. In an interview with his wife earlier today, she had this to say.
I will never forget him. He was a wonderful husband. He was very kind to animals, except for flamingos. He hated them for some reason.
And now it's over to Freddie Wardrobe for the sports news.
Yes, folks, and in an exciting game which lasted the normal amount of time, one team won and another one didn't. The winning team won by getting more points than the losing team. When I interviewed the captain of the winner team earlier, he had this to say.
We are very pleased because we got more points than the other team. That is why we won.
And how do you feel?
We are not very happy because we lost. I wish we got more points than the other team, then we would have won.
In the first half of the game, both your teams had about the same number of points. It could have gone either way. But in the second half, your team got a lot more points than their team. And when the game was over, it was the team with more points that won. How does that make you feel?
We are going to play another game of this sport against a different team next week. I hope we get more points than them so we can win that game like we did today.
And you?
It's not fun losing games. Next time we play another game of this particular sport, we are going to get more points than the other team. And that way, we will win instead of losing like we did today.
Now over to Bethany Jellybean for the weather.
All across the UK, that is indeed rubbish. There have been some sort of weather or other. It's been warm, cold, rainy, snowy, something like that, I don't know. But on Sunday, that's all going to change. In Scotland, there's going to be some sort of hurricane or something, I don't know. And in Ireland, there is going to be a tropical storm. So get out of there! Go to somewhere, I don't know. Tristan's been in England. Hide under his bed and stuff and block the doors and windows, I don't know. Thanks. Yeah.